Hello, everybody. Good morning, and welcome back to the show. And today we are thrilled to have a truly inspiring guest with us, a woman who has effortlessly bridging the gap between the world of technology and the glamour. From coding to the catwalk, she's redefining what is actually meant to be called as a multitasker and a multi-talented female and a fearless lady going ahead in her journey. So I really welcome you on the show. I'm glad to meet you today through this podcast. And
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. It made my day. It actually, in fact, motivates me to do more. I think you already gave the introduction. So, like you mentioned, I'm a nerd. I belong mostly to a corporate tech career who recently found my passion into fashion entrepreneurship and philanthropy, which opened my doors into pageantry. And in here, exploring different journals of the doors that the life journey has offered for me, and would like to be a good positive impact to this society and to people outside there. So, in technology, I am a software engineering person by profession. I work mainly with data and data analytics, and I thrive every day to be more better my on myself in the work that I do in my everyday job, and also the passion that I've chosen for myself. So that's a short introduction about me.
that's a very detailed, in-depth, detailed explanation about you, and it clearly defines you very well. I'm sure you're doing a very good job. So, moving to the question that I had, I mean, personally, that's my curious question I want to ask you. How did you actually think of moving to this area of fashion, going into pageant, being from engineering background, right? Especially from the tech background, people. What actually motivated you? I mean, actually happened in your life that you thought one day you woke up, you thought you should be going in this area, you want to be in the fashion industry. Of course, you're very beautiful, that could be one reason. But yeah, what's your story?
No, actually, you're right. I'm a nerd by myself. I was always too much into academics. I did do a little bit of extracurriculars during my high schooling and my college days, but not into that much, not even into sports. So I was more focused towards academics, always wanting to have a big corporate career, always wanting to climb my corporate ladder. But during my high school and college days, I used to get a lot of offers from the media industry, but I never pushed myself or even never went back home and pushed my parents, telling them that I am wanting to take up this opportunity and pursue further. But this opportunity, it suddenly opened doors for me through one of my best friends and colleagues in the last organization wherever I worked for in my corporate journey. She motivated me to try this. And what inspired me to plunge more into it is my own thought process, because I'm an explorer. When I look back at my own corporate journey, I had always been willing to come out of my comfort zone. I had always shifted between different career arenas within my corporate journey. And also, I'm from the southern part of India. So I currently live in the United States. So coming into United States or having a life here is a dream or vision that I pursued by my own self. Neither my family or not even my friends had put in that seed into my mind or pushed me to pursue for it. So I think my own thought process of willingness to explore something new wanted me to come into this pageantry world. And the second inspiration that I would say is when I decided to come in, I took in some time to go and study the lot of profiles of all these multifaceted women in the fashion world. And that actually impressed me a lot because I could see how women can still manage their own personal life, professional life, a family to take care of their own daily routine, and also try something new for their passion. So that actually kindled my thought process, and I thought, why not? Can I be multitasking? Can I be multifaceted? So I think those two are the major inspiration factors. And because we talked about this, in fact, I need to take this platform to extend my gratefulness and my thank you to my inner circle, my family, my closest circle of friends and mentors and
All right. So thank you so much for discussing this with us. I guess anybody who wants to be in the same domain or anybody who's thinking of being into two different industries can actually get inspired by your story. And it's an amazing journey that you have been living through so far and trying to fulfill your dreams. So I really, it's really commendable actually. Okay, so talking about your awards, because you have been winning a lot of titles so far. So, how did you actually feel when you first had this title of Mrs. New England Universe? And how did this title change your perspective and goals towards your life or your career?
It actually changed my perspective a lot. And thank you for asking this question today because I was really looking for a open platform where I could talk about this and, which would actually help someone to pursue something new. Because one main big impact that it made on me was it started helping me to believe that life does have some really big positive surprises for you. And then I started believing that all the goal setting and all the vision that we are trying to put in front of ourselves is actually based on all the limitations and the belief system that we have developed within ourselves, the experience that we have had. I think based on that, we are setting expectations to our own self, but the actual journey is far more bigger. So it actually changed my perspective in that way, and it started helping me to believe like there are a lot of things to do in life, there are a lot of bigger doors waiting and opening for us. And these days, even when sometimes when I feel things are not going by my way, yes, I would feel down, I would seek guidance and mentorship from people, but at the same time I would tell to myself, this is just a small jerk here, I think something better is going to happen for us. So in that way it definitely changed my perspective a lot. And with setting up goals, it had helped me to dream bigger. That is for sure.
I totally agree with you. That's the right way of handling life, and that's the right perspective you're actually taking towards life because nothing should actually be able to stop you. There has to be no hindrance in life, and whatever, even if there's a failure, there has to be a reason behind it, something very positive. So we should look at a brighter picture towards life, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I
Yes, for
I
sure.
totally agree with you, and I believe many of them who would be coming across the podcast would also agree to us on this conversation. All right. So okay, so you have actually worked for big names like Rina Dhaka. So what has been your journey experience so far, and which is the most memorable moment of your life in fashion, working for her?
Actually, like you mentioned, walking for Rina Dhaka was one of the memorable moments, I would say. In fact, going to the New York Fashion Week itself, that was my first experience going into such a big fashion week, especially in New York. So the energy that I saw there, the kind of women that I could network with, that is definitely one of the big memorable experience for me. And Rina Dhaka by herself is such a big label. But I hope she'll be seeing this podcast sometime. I was really touched by her groundedness and the way she was actually with all of us, helping us to put the show together. So that actually continuously reminds me to be staying grounded wherever we go in the life journey. So that is my most memorable experience. But apart from that, I would say that so one of my friends, she's my family friends, and she chose to be a homemaker, and she wanted to try something all of a sudden out of her usual routine. And then she suddenly chose to do a pageant competition that is happening in her town, and she reached out to me for the support, and I just gave all the guidance that I could do. And then the message that she sent me to my phone after the competition was so touching. She sent something like, I found myself, thank you for empowering me. So that's a most touching message because we all look pageantry as a stepping stone for acting and modeling, which is so true. Yes, it is to venture out into those bigger doors, but at the same time, the small impact that creates in someone's personality, I think that is so impressive. And one other memorable moment is when JJ Crowns chose me to be as part of their cover page edition in the January 2025 article. I shared it with one of my childhood friends. She was so thrilled and excited. And then after months, she called me and said that she ventured out to try something new. And she was like, knowing you from childhood, knowing your journey, if you can like change paths and try something, I thought I should also get motivated by my friend and do something. So I think like this is also good because we are able to inspire the people within our community, within our circle where we are trying to work with each other and grow together. So I think these are all some of the memorable moments after coming into this pageantry world.
Yeah, truly, because in case you even could inspire one single life through whatever you bring in life, I guess you've made your path in the right direction and done your part right. And of course, somebody who
Sure.
is as compassionate, as successful as Rina Dhaka, uh, yeah, by due respect. So I believe anybody who has something which is which is any quality, I believe, is of course very down to earth and grounded, and that's one of the most, I mean, the most prominent indication of something that the person basically has some talent, because somebody who's really I mean, really has a talent is actually grounded, and those who are not, of
Yes.
course, so that's one of the most important sign, I believe. I personally believe that somebody who really has some talent will actually be very grounded, because they want to spread that spark, spread that information and knowledge to people around them, and that's a very good indication, of course.
Yes.
So yeah, I could totally relate to your story, and then I could totally understand how, what kind of experience you might have had platform. So okay, so talking about your domain, from creativity, talking about your fashion and innovation. So as a woman in tech, how do you actually manage creativity from fashion with innovation in the IT?
Okay, that's a great question. So I would say I learned compartmentalization after starting to do two different facets in my everyday journey. Like when I am there doing my pageant or my show, I'm focusing there. I do take the pride and the empowerment that I get in there. But then when I start my job, when I just log in into my laptop every day, that is a different Kritika out there. So I started practicing that compartmentalization within me so that I can respect both the journals of my uh,
Yeah,
passion that I
that's very important.
dance. Yeah, that yeah, yes. That I felt is very, very important because we cannot expect the same thing that's happening over here in a corporate job or the same thing that's happening in a corporate job in a fashion world. But the second thing where I could merge it is all the energy and all the really active women that I networked with. When I see them, like the famous designers who are entrepreneurs by themselves and all that, that actually helped me to bring that energy into this corporate world. It actually motivated me to perform better here. I would say that. And also, we know that fashion has no end to it. Every day, there is something new in fashion. So I think that's more relatable to our everyday corporate software world too. Every day, there is something new in our technology, and we have to get
Yeah.
used to it. So I think adaptability is something that the next thing that I learned. So I think this compartmentalization and adaptability is something that I could merge between both the worlds and bring from here and take it here. And the energy that I bring from there is actually helping me to perform even here in the corporate world better.
Yeah, because if you would have said the way opposite, like the vice versa of what you said recently, you can actually bring the energy from the fashion to the corporate, but you can't take the energy from the corporate to the fashion because there's no energy left. The kind of perception, this kind of perception we have about corporate life, like 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
totally exhaustive, so tedious.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody actually could, take the energy from the corporate to the fashion world. But of course, yeah, the fashion thing is really common. There's a new trend every now and then, so I totally understand. Even corporates, if you go, you can actually have a lot of ranges of different trends going on in your life nowadays. The way people dress up. So yeah, it's very interesting to know. Okay, so
Yeah, and also I think whether it's corporate or fashion, it's about the circle of people you're with. So it's always energizing when you're with the circle of people with whom you can align to, whom you can look up to. I think that's the best thing that one can have. And even if
yeah,
it has
yeah.
happened one time for you, I think that's a truly blessing, and it's a truly remarkable memory that you have to keep cherishing upon it. Yeah,
No, of course, it has to be very,
making
very
those right.
important to have vibe with somebody, especially in the
Yeah.
corporate, to survive. And of course, all if you find if you're lucky enough to have very good friends in your life, the way about your friends trying to post you and to push you for this achievements you have had in life. So of course, that's very commendable and really lucky, because nowadays we don't find genuine friends very easily, right? especially when we grow much high in the age. So if you have those circle,
Yes.
you're actually very blessed, I would say.
My daughter, so my I have a 9-year-old. She's in her third grade, and she has a friend from kindergarten. And the other day, she suddenly asked me a question: How can I be friends with the same friend even when I go to high school or even when I finish college? So I actually didn't know how to dissect and explain to her level, but I told her, yes, you can still be friends forever if you're not bringing up the differences or the other things that you both are doing in your own path. That is separate, but you're still friends. And I don't know how much she understood because she's a 9-year-old. But then that in fact made me think. I think that is most important with the circle of people that we have. Still, we are trying to vibe with them, and we are able to have that connection with them wherever we go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Actually, it's actually about the energy and frequencies anybody has, and somebody who vibes
Mhm.
at the same level, vibrate at the same level, to be friends with you. And it's the beauty is to
Mhm.
continue for a longer period of time. I
Yeah.
mean, I read somewhere it's if the friendship is more than 7 years, it becomes almost a relationship, like almost like family. That you are relative now,
Yes.
you're family, you're blood, you're into each other's blood. Even the family knows you very well.
Yes.
So, and that kind of support is very important because you could actually pour your heart out, and they can actually push you in the right way. They can tell you the do's and don'ts. They can guide you in the right way, positive, negatives. It's very, very important to have a friend like that. So yeah, of course. So, I mean, that's my first podcast where somebody is actually focusing on friendships and people trying to push them for their career. Because otherwise, generally, people don't have much friends. They talk about family supporting or husband or spouse or anybody supporting them in the journey. But of course, yeah, I totally believe friends are also very important because you can actually share your heart out, and if they're very genuine, they actually take you along in the journey. Yeah, so okay.
Sure.
So let's focus on your STEM background, your expertise in that area. So, what advice would you actually give
Yes.
to young girls looking for a break into STEM field? Because nowadays there are a lot of opportunities. I would say because I'm from management background and I don't see much
Mhm.
opportunity in our area because it's very narrow road for all of us. But for especially for STEM backgrounds, there are a lot of scholarships, there are a lot of opportunities around us. So, if you could just guide people looking into those areas, like small kids who might be watching the podcast, of course. So, what is your guidance for them, advice for them?
I think the general perception that has been about STEM or science and math is it's a difficult subject to take forward. So for young girls,
It
for
is
young
rather
women,
right, isn't it? It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
To my own daughter who is a 9-year-old, I tell her like you got to challenge yourself.
Right.
So in fact, like she takes these some extra mathematics classes. It's just something that she wants to try. And then we had some conversation between us before her first day of class. So the first question that she asked was, what will I do if I'm not able to connect with the teacher and if I don't like? Then I said, this is about you learning the subject. Like, you cannot expect that every teacher you're meeting to connect with you and you sharing a love with them. You are going there because she is playing the role of tutoring you and helping you to upskill. So you have to extract that part from there. And then the second question she asks, what if I find it hard? And then I asked her, like, so she takes swim lessons too. And the first day, she wasn't even willing to get into the pool. And now she's a fluent swimmer. She's like in her level 3. So I told her, how did you do that? And she said, no, after 2 or 3 times, I thought I must do. And then I just plunged into the water. So then I said, that's how you should take this. So I think that's how it is. I think we should start challenging ourselves. Yes, it is hard, but we should challenge ourselves and try to take it up. And the second thing is to not live in the fairyland. That's from my own journey that I always self-reflected, because I think living in the fairyland and then thinking that whatever we do is going to be successful is not the story that we must carry on. So these days, like at home, when my daughter comes back with some sad stories, I let her thrive through that. I'll tell her, yeah, sometimes things end up sad. Every time there is no positive thing, every time there is no success. So I think we should prepare girls for practical life. That is something I'm truly looking forward to in today's parenting, because that's when we will be able to take up challenges and we will be able to face ups and downs equally. And that's where I think young girls become women leaders in the future. Because I always, looking into my own journey, I feel leaders are not born, they are made. Because
Right,
you
right,
become more strong,
right.
you become more tough within you, in your head, based on all the different good and the failures that you've seen, based on all the good people and the people you don't align with, you see. So that's when you learn. So I think all this will help someone to push from the way
Yeah,
what you said, like,
I want to say something. I want to add
yeah,
something,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I've lost my track now because of this stuff.
yeah.
I wanted to comment something
Yeah.
on how you have been handling your daughter so well. And then, of course, yeah. So I was talking about how you can actually talk about how, as a parent, it's very important to make the kid understand that there has to be failures. And if there's no failure, there's no success. That you haven't, that means you haven't tried anything in life. And it's okay to fail
Yes.
as
So
many
true.
times as
Yes.
possible because ultimately you can learn from your failure. It's always a learning that
Yeah.
failure gives you in the end. So that's the best part. And of course,
Yeah.
you should try to. I mean, like for kids, initially, if I look back in times, we talk about traditional and conventional ways of uh, I mean, like looking at kid handling the issues of kids in life. But I guess nowadays parents
Mhm.
are really understandable, and if you keep on pushing your kids like that, they can still result into anxiety and depressions, which is very common nowadays. So being a very supportive parents is what we're doing a very good job in that area. I should comment on that. Of course, you're very
Thank you
sweet.
so much.
She's lucky to have you in her life. The way you are actually handling her is
Thank
quite commendable, and that's the right way
you.
also to deal with kids because they are very sensitive, and at this delicate
Mhm.
age, there has to be a proper mentoring, friendly mentoring where they can share with you, and they can be comfortable in life, and they should learn both the ways. Both the coins should be there in everybody's life. So very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So talking
Yeah.
about
Actually,
yeah.
end of last year, I read this somewhere in a book in the library and I loved it. I haven't even thought in this perspective for so many years. So that in that book, one page said, it's not that either you win or lose, it's that either you win or you learn. You have learned something from it. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a different way to
That's
think.
that's that's completely the right stuff because
Yeah.
initially, if I look back in like 5, 10 years down the line, I mean, like in the past, I was okay when I had all the wins in my life. Then I was like, okay,
Hmm.
it's good to be winning, and there's nothing like failure, and I don't want to fail in my life. But gradually, when you grow
Hmm.
up, then you come across different circumstances in life, and then you still fail. And after like 1 or 2 years, when you have actually surpassed that level, the kind of confidence,
Hmm.
happiness, and a learning that failure gives you is beyond comparison. You can't have that learning from any kind of success, so and you
Yes.
it actually makes you a complete holistic person where
Hmm.
you're strong enough, independent enough. Especially for females, it's very important to be very strong and independent. So now nothing makes you sad once you've already have gone through.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can't be sad ever in life because it has made you so
Yeah.
strong that you are the one who's boosting yourself every now and then. You're conscious, your inner
Mhm.
self keeps you with you very strong, pushing and boosting. So I guess
Yes.
that is very important to be inculcated into any kid, so they survive any kind of circumstances and there's no sorrow ever in life. So yeah.
Yes. I
Anyway,
agree.
so
Yeah.
talking about your the most important climax of your podcast is your Cannes experience and your Paris Fashion Week experience. The the enthusiasm you had at that time, what kind of expressions you had when you actually were into that showcase, and then looking at that perspective now, what is your future perspective for your being into pageants, being into fashion? How do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? What's your dream now? Which is the bigger dream apart from the already one achieved so far in your life? If you could just walk us through your dream here.
My bigger dream would be the first to try my entrepreneurs, because I had always wanted to have a brand for my own self, be an entrepreneur, but I've never set a timeline for it yet. But now and then I would think multiple strategies in my mind. So that is one thing that I would definitely would like to plunge into, emerge in that area. And the second thing would be like, because as we talk about all the STEM, and then talking more about uh, having a very practical approach towards parenting, or talking about motivating women to get into STEM, become women leaders, I think I would choose one particular cause for which I would like to voice over and talk more about it, motivate more people, because I think in that way we can actually motivate a lot of people around there, help them to grow in the space that they want to. So I think these are the two things that, in fact, I was talking to my family too. I think coming into pageant, yes, fashion is one side where we try all this fashion weeks and all that, but we should also work towards a particular social cause where we
Definitely.
can be an impact. So probably I think that would be another wing that I would pick up on my hands. And I haven't yet walked in the red carpet of Cannes and Paris Fashion Week as such, but I had been part of those shows through one of my friends who runs those regularly and being part of the planning team and all that. So maybe, yeah, sometime I would go and walk there to see how actually the red carpet looks there too. So that is for me. But to be an impact to the society, I think I would take entrepreneurship and voicing out for a good cause that would actually motivate more people. So those are the two wings that I would take
That's
apart from
beautiful.
the.
That's actually beautiful. And I wish you all the best. I wish you could see yourself walking on the red carpet very soon. So it's all the positive vibes towards you that you could achieve
Sure.
your dream. And of course, this is really important because we somewhere forget when we actually get our own wins to look at from where we are getting it, and it's very important to look back to the society who has been somehow
Yeah.
contributing to our lives directly and indirectly. So I believe that's a very beautiful thought, and I wish you again all the best on that in those terms where you could actually be an entrepreneur very soon, by God's grace, and then yeah, just shine the way you are already shining, shine brighter. So it was again. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed the conversation. I feel we could still go on and on with the stories, but I understand you have a very busy schedule, so it's okay. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. It was really an incredible journey and very insightful podcast today. And your story basically reminds me that brilliance and beauty can actually coexist together, and there's a passion behind everybody's life, passion and purpose, and every dream could be reachable very soon. The way you are talking about your dreams, and I wish you all the best. So it was nice to talk to you, nice to meet you once again. I wish you all the best for your journey. I hope you enjoy the podcast too, because I really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so true. I really enjoyed the podcast. It wasn't just like a question and answer session. It was more like we both could have a conversation, have a chat. I wanted to thank you for this podcast. Thank you for spotting me. Thank you for inviting me for this podcast. And than the podcast that we had, where it wasn't just like a question and answer session. I think it was more like where we both could put in our thoughts and have like a really good, powerful, and a fun chat. So thank you. And I'm definitely looking forward. I hope someone who's watching this podcast somewhere, it will have a very positive influence on them, and it will help them to pursue something better in their dreams that they wanted to pursue for their own future. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very sure even if it comes across one person who could just benefit from it, I guess we have done our part right.
Mhm.
So yeah, one step at a
Yes,
time.
that's
So
so
yeah,
true.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed the conversation. Sometimes you vibe with somebody and it turns out to be a very good conversation. So I guess that's the stuff today. And there's a lot of stuff to learn from you and from your journey, of course. In fact you are also
Thank
very
you.
grounded. So I should comment on that. You're actually very grounded, very nice to talk to. So I guess people around you
Thank
might
you.
be happy and trying to learn something from you, of course, from your journey, and it's a very good takeaway conversation. So I wish you all the best, and I wish you could just live your dreams very soon. So it's all the best wishes from our side. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care.
Yeah, sure, Aarti. Thank you so much for your time.
Same here. Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for this podcast.
No,
Sure.
thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.